Question. What did you think when you heard about Trey Morris? Does it feel like another one? I mean, you've lost like 5.
When Trey got hurt, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so, so Dre tells me the headset, Trey's out, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then kind of then it was a little bit more serious than I thought, So it doesn't matter, no one cares. The next guy's got to go play, So, it's one of those deals where we've got depth there, and we've been preparing those guys there. The next guy's got to go play. We're lucky that we've got some guys like Greg Ross, who's played a lot, who step in and do a good job.
What was the biggest thing you wanted to clean up or focus on during the open day?
There were some schematic things I think people had given us the last couple of weeks that we weren't handling well, so that was part of that. I think always in the bye week you want to spend time on the fundamentals of getting off blocks and tackling, so we spent a little more time on that. And I think Coach Brown did a great job, like you would expect, of giving us time to work on that, but not beat them up either. So we didn't do a lot of full pad tackle to the ground, crazy stuff. It was more, hey, let's focus on this for 5 minutes and get it on film and teach off of it. So I think those are the two main things. And then, I think we've got, with some of the injuries in the secondary, we've had to some guys are having to cross-train a little bit, that weren't having to do that. And I think getting some of those guys some reps in some other spots has been good for us.
But back to the Shaw injury, with the young guys that are going to play at corner now, Coach Brown mentioned a couple. What else can you do to kind of schematically put less pressure on those?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, anytime you put stress on one part of your defense, it affects the rest, right? So you have to decide, if I'm gonna, if we're gonna protect that corner or this corner, then how does it affect the rest of the defense, And so we had the ability to do that. We do that all the time, whether it's we feel like we have a matchup problem or not, because that's what you do as a defense coordinator, right? Is pass the stress around. But I mean, we're not going to this game like, oh my gosh, this guy's playing. We're going to be fine.
How has Virginia Tech's offense changed since they went to Hooker at quarterback?
I think obviously they're running them a little bit more. They ran the other kid a lot too, but I think he's probably a little bit better runner. I think he's done a great job. He hasn't turned the ball over, and the ball's been in his hands a lot. With all the jet sweep stuff they do, and the quarterback runs off of it. And then I think I think against Miami he did a great job, and I think against Rhode Island he probably didn't have to do this as much of getting him out of jail. It's 2nd and 10, they drop back and you got him covered, and he scrambles for 14 yards, and he killed Miami scrambling. So I think that's a big emphasis for us is rush lanes, contain. Maybe not trying to make a great pass rush move to beat a guy because it's going to open up a huge lane inside of you. Some of those things have been part of our thoughts, but I think he's taking care of the ball really well. He's an athletic kid. I remember my high school. He's obviously a really talented kid, and I think he's what they want. I mean, I think they want to run a quarterback that can run it and be a factor in the run game, and he's certainly doing a great job with that.
6 weeks in, you've had Jason Strobridge kind of off and on as far as being healthy. You've had Aaron pretty much all the time. Are those guys what you thought they were?
I mean, so it's hard. Like Aaron didn't play at all a year ago, really. So I kind of based off of what people told me, and then watching him in the spring a little bit. And I thought, I would say he's probably exceeded my expectation. I think he's playing at a really high level. Jason, watching film last year, I could tell was really talented. Didn't play at all in the spring, so it was pretty quick to figure out in summer camp how talented he is. But those two are really good players that play hard. They're good veteran leaders for us, and I think when those two have been healthy and played, we've been pretty good. So they're obviously pretty important to our success.
What is it that Aaron does so well that maybe the average football fan doesn't see when they're watching a game?
He's 320 pounds. So he takes up a lot of space. I just think, in the most simplistic way of saying it is two guys have to block him a lot. And so that means there's somebody else not getting blocked. And so when you consistently get that at nose guard, the rest of your defense works a lot better. So.
When you're watching games during an open week, do you like to watch them as a fan, or are you looking for stuff that maybe think about and talk to other coaches about?
I mostly watch them as a fan, but if I see something I like, I go pull it up and watch it, yeah.
Anything in particular stand out this week to you?
Some of the LSU stuff, I watched LSU play. I thought it was a pretty crazy game. Some of the stuff they were doing, I went and looked at yesterday. That's about it.
When you watch games as a fan, do you get disgusted when you watch Louisville and Wake Forest, or would you rather watch Penn State and Iowa?
Yeah, I like Penn State, Iowa, like, just me personally, that's a little closer to what I think of. But I didn't watch the Wake Forest game. I was watching, well, I guess LSU. So.
Jay, what are you seeing with Miles Doran, the way he's had to step up every week with all these new guys? You know, every week it's somebody new playing back in the secondary.
Yeah, Miles is a pretty consistent kid. And before Clemson, I told him, like, listen, you're going to have to manage this now. And we were doing some stuff that we hadn't done in a while, schematically, and I think he did a really good job of doing that, playing both spots, and just, really just, he's a very positive kid, so I think that helps. Some of our younger DBs haven't played as much. He helps us create an atmosphere of, hey, look, let's go attack, let's go play, and he's really, he's elite smart. Elite smart. So I think that, I can have conversations with him about, hey, look, if we're in this and this happens, like, you've got to get us out. And those things, that's been good. And I think Wolf's similar to that. And so I think once we get Wolf back, we'll be able to do a little more. But Dorn's doing a great job.
Do you expect Don Chapman or DJ Ford that second safety spot?
Both. I mean, when DJ played a lot of safety in the spring, played a lot in the summer, and we kind of had focused him on nickel, and it becomes a deal where, like, the nickel is a very complicated deal. Like you're doing a lot. And so I felt like after about week 2, like, I needed to focus him on just being nickel. And so when we had some injuries at safety, we put him in. I think against Akron, put him in, and you could tell he wasn't real, not confident, but he was a little bit unsure at times. And so I felt like I had to get him ready. And so we kind of managed him through the last 2 games. And now with bye week, I feel much better about it. And that he was one of the kids I was referring to. Like, DJ's now getting, like, hey, dude, like, you got to be able to do both now. And so I feel way better about him going back in safety and playing. So I think those 3 will handle those 2 spots for the foreseeable future. So whoever practices better.
How have your young guys responded to, I guess, the next man up mentality and maybe playing more than they thought they would this early?
No, I think we're pretty fortunate because I think our DBs are pretty confident kids. Maybe more confident than they should be. With youth comes ignorance sometimes. So I think that part's been great. But I mean, if you asked Dre and me at some point during the preseason camp, we would have said, man, I think this guy's playing a little better, or this guy's playing a little better. So it's a pretty competitive room, where there's a bunch of kids in it that I think could play, and so now they're getting opportunities, and I think it's been. I mean, Don Chapman goes into Georgia Tech, 8th play of his college career, picks the ball off, and he certainly wasn't perfect, but Don Chapman played well enough for us to win, and we did. So I think we've got some guys that are in that same boat. They're going to go in there and make plays, and it's their chance, and it's more just getting them up to speed knowledge-wise with some of the stuff we're doing. And I think it's a little bit easier too in a game plan week, because now you've cut out. In preseason camp you teach them, you give them the whole menu, and then all of a sudden during the game plan it's just the daily specials. So it's a little bit less of. They don't have to learn the whole thing. They don't have to know everything. Right? They need to know that game plan, and then you got to rely on guys like Miles Dorn and Jeremiah Gemmel that if you do have to go off the menu a little bit, off the back, if you have to go back and get a special from week 2, right now you get those guys to help them out there in the field to get in the right call. But I'm pretty confident with those guys, honestly.
Is there a difference in how they approach practice the next week after they've gotten on the field and had a little bit of success when they're that young?
I think probably. I think most of them, it's kind of been like, okay, he's hurt, so now you're getting more reps, and then I think at that point they start to realize, okay, I could go in the game. We've been pretty fortunate that we've been able to kind of manage a game, and then the next week get them ready, like we do with Cam. So I think for sure, as you get closer to that, to really playing, the preparation becomes a little bit more important to you. But I think our kids have prepared pretty well all season. I expect that to continue.
Anything, guys? Right. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you much.